You can take the slave out of slavery all you want, but until the slave takes the slavery out of himself, you will never be free. You can teach African history and culture all you want, but until you re-socialize African children, we will always be self-hating. You can build all the black businesses you want, but until we've been socialized to support black business, they will always shut down. You can destroy white supremacy all you want, but the white supremacy will regenerate itself because it lives in every black person. You get rid of the flu. You get rid of the flu. But you still have it in you. So guess what? The flu will be right back in the neighborhood because it's in you. See, white supremacy lives in us. Nobody wants to talk about this. Not even the Afrocentric scholars, who also got white supremacy living in them too. You see that? Nobody wants to talk about that. What about the white man living in us? Let's have a conversation on that. Because when you deal with post-traumatic slavery disease, that's what you're dealing with. Your question is, how do I get the white man out of me? Nobody touches that. And you know why nobody touches that? Because many of our learned African scholars got a much stronger white man living inside of them, because they were the products of the white institutions. Miseducation of the Negro, Carter G. Woodson. He laid it out. He wasn't a psychologist, but that book was profoundly psychological. The college-educated Negro is seldom of any use to his race. You have to first want to be black to be a black nationalist. You got to first want to be an African to be a Pan-African nationalist. You see, so the identity precedes the national impetus, you see. So you have to first get us happy and proud to be who we are. Once we happy and proud to be who we are, then we naturally start talking about, let's do for myself. Let's get our own school. Let's get our own neighborhood. Let's get our own supermarket. Let's get our own ships. Let's get our own airplanes. That is the natural outgrowth of a healthy sense and love of self. You see, that naturally comes.
You know, when I look at other cultures, Mexican, French, wherever, they're proud of who they are. They wave their flag. They speak their native tongue. They eat their native foods. They wear their native clothing. They are proud of who we are. And in world history, it seems like people of African descent, we are the only people who have gone through this identity crisis from being, you know, colored, you know, Negro, just trying to find out who we are.
You go into Italian neighborhood, that Italian flag is waving. You go into the Jewish neighborhood, that Israeli flag is waving. You go to the Puerto Rican neighborhood, that Puerto Rican flag is waving. You see that? But you go into the black neighborhood, one flag, and that's the red, white, and blue, the flag of our oppressor. People who love who they are don't want to integrate with other people. Boom. That's why black people love integration so much. We're the only people who want to be around other people who don't look nothing like us all day long. Chinese want to be around Chinese. I love myself. Jews want to be around Jews. I love myself. Anglo-Saxons want to be around Anglo-Saxons. I love myself. Latinos want to be around Latinos. I love myself. It's self-love. We're the only people. We don't want to live with each other. We don't want to work with each other. We don't want to marry each other. Look, because we don't like ourselves. That's why you want to be surrounded by non-black folk, because you don't want to see reflections of yourself around you. We do not want reminders of anything that tells us we African. I don't want to hear it.
Well, the first thing you must do is understand the nature of your conditions, where you are in time and place and space. Right now, you're in danger. You're in a high-risk position. You're totally dependent on others, on the white society, and other people to survive, to take care of you, support you, provide you with your daily necessities of life. That's critically important. If you don't understand, you're dependent on other people who are competing with you.
We will not build until the black power is connected to the black dollar. And that's going to offend some people. But it's the reality. We have to shift. What are we celebrating right now? This is our 150th year since the end of slavery. 150 years of the 13th Amendment. 150. Are we on course for revolution? Are we on course for regeneration? Are we on course for reorganization? If anybody says yes, they are crazy. We're not on course. We're not on course. And the reason we're not on course is we're not looking at the economics. And the reason we don't want to look at the economics is because nobody wants to be accountable to the whole for how they spend their money. Let me say it again. The reason why it is so difficult to talk about the black dollar that underscores the black power is because nobody wants to be accountable to the whole for how they spend their money. In other words, for us to really rebuild the black community, besides the lecture, you understand? You have to come forward with how much you make a year. And the community is going to say, based on how much you make a year, you are obligated to give $200 a month. How much you obligated to give $5,000? You see that? Like the churches do. See, the churches make you economically accountable. You can't join a church, a mega church, without them seeing your tax return. Now check this out. I don't have a problem with the formula. I like it. The problem is they're not using the money to build up the community. They're using the money to build a bigger church. You see the difference? But I like the protocol. I like the idea. You want to be in the black conscious community? I don't care if you Hebrew, Moor, Nawapian, God and Earth, Nation of Islam, vegetarian, socialist, nationalist. It don't matter. Whatever. You want to be in the conscious community? I need to see your pay stubs.
You build those communities around what? People who have a similar interest to yours, or who have a similar problem to yours, and you build communities. And in the old days, the pioneers were going west. They would circle the wagons when the Indians would challenge them. Black folks learned to circle the wagons and build their own communities. Inside those communities, they got started building build their own businesses and industries. Those industries need to provide a tax base and jobs and business opportunities, services and goods for their own people. Thirdly, they got to learn how to practice group economics and group politics, which means in your group economics, you make your money bounce 8 to 12 times with your own people before it leaves. That's why Hispanic money bounces 6 to 7 times, white money bounces 8 to 12 times, Arab and Asian money bounces about 12 or 13 times, and Jewish money bounces 18 times. Black money doesn't bounce once. We spend our money outside of our own communities. Other people spend their money with their own people. We're losing the money. We have a balance of trade, which means we're spending our money in other people's communities, subsidizing them. Nobody comes to the black community to subsidize the black community, but we go to everybody else's community and drop our money there because our money doesn't bounce once. We're totally dependent on other people, and other people are they're competing against us.
If we really want to get serious, we will really crack down on people's financial obligation to the struggle. Until we get there, we hypocrites. We not serious. All this information sharing and information man, other groups are laughing at us. They laughing. Look at these Negroes over here. Yeah, they were great. They built the pyramids. They got melanin. They got spirituality and don't own nothing. Look at this. You keep telling us how great you are, but you ain't shown it. You see that? That's the difference. We're telling people how great we are. You don't have to tell when you can manifest. Why not manifest? You ain't got to tell white folks how great you are. Show them. But we're not ready to sacrifice the black dollar.